Shocking betrayal. A Nigerian man in the UK claimed cultural immunity. It wouldn't be reported in Nigeria after assaulting an 18-year-old. Here is a real story of how another Nigerian man has come to the UK to Baujuwaje. Okay, the man, yes, he came to Baujuwaje, no be small thing. Hello everybody, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Wemimo and I'm also known as That Mom of 5 and also known as TMO5 Kanduko. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back. And if you are new to my channel for the first time, do not hesitate to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so let's dive into the story as it is. Today I am actually covering a case within the UK, and the story is about Emmanuel Onwubiko. A Nigerian lecturer has been sentenced after actually assaulting an 18-year-old in Warrington here in the UK. Emmanuel had come to the UK on a student visa, which has since expired. He is reportedly seeking a postgraduate visa to remain in the country and also to repay a loan BC, as his wife and 3 children face threats if the debt is unpaid. Can you imagine? He has a wife and 3 children. He even had the audacity to say such behavior wouldn't be reported in Nigeria. Let's unpack what happened and why it really matters. It really matters because same cases, Natasha and Akpabio, we know. Anyway, in the case of the victim, the teenage girl, just 18 at the time, was going through a deeply personal journey. She had expressed a desire to feel, in quote, clean, and was preparing for baptism. This wasn't just a religious ritual for her, it was a symbol of a fresh start, a renewal after struggling with personal challenges. Yeah, so sad. I'm so sorry for this. Unfortunately, the desire for spiritual healing was exploited by Emmanuel Onwubiko. Then, during that crime, was 35 years old. According to court documents, Onwubiko used his moments of vulnerability to manipulate and target the 18-year-old teenager. He began with inappropriate comments and quickly escalated to touching her intimate parts without her consent. Can you imagine? Someone with a wife. His behavior wasn't just criminal, it was predatory and manipulative. He has a wife and 3 children. Put that in a corner. So this is his victim statement, and I'm going to read it to you guys. My mental health has significantly declined due to what happened to me, she said. Some days I feel as though I can't get out of bed due to feeling anxious. My mind is always thinking about what happened to me, and as it is, as though I have constant flashbacks about what happened to me. I now feel a shell of my former self. I researched online and found a church that does baptism on short notice. I felt so desperate to try and cleanse my body and feel as clean as possible. Can you imagine? I was reaching out to God to try and get some help, and I thought bathing in holy water would wash away the horrible feelings I was having. Emmanuel Onwubiko, you know, go better for you. Anyway, let's move on. So, cultural excuse when the young woman pushed back and made it clear that his actions were unwelcome. Onwubiko, our Nigerian EGOT, reportedly responded in a disturbing way. He told her not to worry because, in quote, such things wouldn't be reported in Nigeria. Natasha reported, you know, the case that is happening in Nigeria now. This statement carries a heavy implication. It suggests he believed Nigerian society would tolerate, yes, Nigerian society would tolerate or at least ignore his behavior. It's a chilling example of how some individuals actually misuse cultural perceptions to silence victims or justify wrongdoing. For viewers, this moment is not just about one man's crime, but about a broader issue, how silence and stigma around sexual abuse persist in some communities. It persists almost every day in Nigeria. Yes. So the victim's response, despite being shaken, the victim acted with a very remarkable courage. You know, she quickly left the area, physically sick from what had happened to her. She managed to stay in contact with a friend via, you know, sending messages, sharing, in quote, running commentary. As events unfolded, a critical move that helped document the incident in real time. I'm so sorry this happened to you, baby girl. Super sorry. The teenager eventually fled to a relative's house where she found safety. It was from there that she reported Onwubiko's actions to the authorities. Her bravery alone in coming forward, especially after such a trauma, set the wheels of justice in motion. Trust me, UK police hear things like this, no be simple thing. So in terms of the trial and the conviction, when the case reached the court, Onwubiko denied all the charges, but the evidence, including the victim's text messages and a detailed account of what happened, a visible distress, actually speak a lot of volume. Yes, the jury found Onwubiko guilty on 5 separate counts of sexual assault. During the sentencing, the judge heard a moving statement from the victim. She shared how the experience left her with panic attacks, depression, anxiety, and an overwhelming sense she had lost her identity. Her testimony reminded everyone that even if a survivor appears strong on the outside, the inner damage can be very, very long lasting. So Emmanuel Onwubiko, our Nigerian lecturer, the court handed Onwubiko a 2-year prison sentence, which in my own opinion is not enough. In addition to time behind bars, one, he must register as a sex offender for the next 10 years. I am even annoyed that he's going to remain in the UK. He is also banned from contacting the victim or her family for a decade via a 10-year restraining order. My utter disbelief is that he is still going to remain in the UK. Why is he in the UK? Send him back home to Nigeria. But the impact of the case just did not end there, okay? It did not end there. The court also heard out in a separate incident after learning what had happened. The victim's father physically attacked Onwubiko out of rage and frustration, though his actions were fueled by emotion and grief. He also faced legal consequences and he received a suspended sentence, which meant that he would not have to go to jail, as we've been saying, but the criminal offense has been recorded against his name, and I hope he just doesn't, commit again. Tell me, what typical Nigerian father would not do that? I'm sure a typical Nigerian father would do more and more if it were to be back home in Nigeria, and I know you can actually agree with me in regards to that. So the final element brings a human and tragic touch to this story of this young 18-year-old. It shows the ripple effects of abuse, how one man's selfish actions tore through an entire family, what it cost to this girl, her mental health and all of that. So key lessons that Nigerian men should know. 1, consent is universal and not cultural. No matter where you are in the world, consent is non-negotiable. Read my lips, non-negotiable. What may have been normalized or overlooked in some Nigerian communities does not translate to legality or morality abroad. Learn that and let that stay in your skull. Cultural conditioning or silence around sexual misconduct in Nigeria is not an excuse. It's not an excuse for abuse, especially in countries with strong legal protections. And this case of Nigerian men misbehaving is becoming too much. Number 2 thing is this: cultural excuses will not protect you saying this. In quote, this wouldn't be reported in Nigeria. It's not only dismissive, it is incriminating. Courts abroad won't accept cultural justifications for harmful acts. Nigerian men, open your ears. This mindset shows a dangerous lack of accountability, which can lead to a very harsh legal consequences. Number 3, respect boundaries always. Many African men were raised in environments where power dynamics or seniority blurred boundaries. That must be unlearned. You're not supposed to unlearn that behavior. A woman's spiritual vulnerability, respect, or silence is not consent. No is no. Emotional, religious, or professional authority must never ever be abused. If you're in diaspora, it must never be abused. Number 4, the law abroad is not lenient. In places like the UK, 1, law enforcement takes sexual assault very, very seriously. 2, victims are supported, and technology like texts and witness statements are very, very much admissible if you find yourself in this kind of case or in court. Jail time, restraining orders, and sex offender registries will follow you for the rest of your life. It will follow you for the rest of your life. Number 5, protecting your image is not more important than doing what is right. Nigerian culture often places more value on, in quote, saving face than confronting wrongdoing. Natasha Doam, see what is happening in Nigeria. But abroad, victims are increasingly empowered to speak, and silence can no longer be relied on as protection. You may escape shame temporarily at home, but you won't escape justice abroad. Nigerian men, some of you hear that. Number 6, change starts with unlearning. If you grew up in a society that normalized certain behaviors, as this our lecturer said, now in Nigeria, women will not report it. You need to actively educate yourself on global standards of respect, consent, and gender equity. Being a Nigerian is a no excuse for ignorance. Adapt, grow, and lead by example. Open your ears. Number 7, your actions reflect on the community when Nigerians commit crimes abroad. I say this all the time. It affects the perception of the entire diaspora. It does. I know I say this all the time. 2, it creates more scrutiny. racial bias, and hardship for other law-abiding Nigerians like me, so that they will not be looking at us anyhow. Number 8, this is for all Nigerians. Raise your sons differently. Teach the next generation that 1, no means no. 2, that respect is not earned by force. 3, and that cultural silence is not power. It equally means oppression. Teach your sons. Men, learn that before you come out for Nigeria. Wife, teach your husband. Okay, this case exposes the danger of claiming cultural differences to excuse unacceptable behavior. Nigerian men, some of you are here, it's crazy. It highlights that no one is above the law, whether in the UK or in Nigeria. Let's ensure that we support survivors and challenge excuses that silences victims, because when people talk about them, they call them Olushu, they will do this, they will say I did again not enjoy, because that's what is going to come. Anyway guys, let's keep the conversations going in the comment section. If you've watched this video till now and you've not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to like, drop a comment based on what I've discussed in this video, share this video, join my membership, and subscribe for more investigative stories. Guys, let me know how I did in this video. Drop your thoughts below. Okay, have you encountered cultural excuses used to justify harmful actions? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in another video. All right, bye for now. Bye.